All right, Scott, when you look at this quarterback room, obviously Derek at the top of that list, what impresses you the most?
Just a lot of good throwers of the football. Watched a little bit of it, still studying it, but guys that can all throw it. And heard really good things about the group of guys too. So I'm excited to work with them. And that's the exciting part is once the players come, we're busy doing all this scheme and draft stuff now. It'll be fun to get those guys in the building and get to work.
And with Carr specifically, what is it about this game that you noticed as well?
He's a pure passer. I've always felt that way about Derek. There's not a throw on the field he can't make.
Talent around him. To have a guy like Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill, just kind of the talent around Derek too.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen it from afar for many years, and definitely got a good thing going here. And it's our job to try to accelerate that and more of the good and less of the bad. Stay healthy. That's obviously part of it. Excited for that though.
What is it about this quarterback room and the offense as a whole that really drew you to want to take the job?
Pardon?
What is it about the quarterback room that really drew you to want to take the job?
Good throwers, as I just alluded to. Each of these three guys can really throw the rock, and excited to see it in person and go from there.
Scott, there's a lot of quarterbacks on this staff, but like more so than you see you, Linehan, obviously Kellen, and I'm blanking on one, but is that Nuts? That's yeah. Is that helpful as you kind of communicate? Do you kind of speak the same language in a sense?
I think so, just because you see the game through the quarterback's lens, and I think that always helps. Just sometimes you see a guy that maybe was wide open on tape, but yet what you don't see is the rusher that potentially took some color off and made it difficult to find that guy.
Sean Payton used to say quarterbacks are like a pilot, fly you to safety or into the side of a mountain. Is that how you view them?
Say that in. Quarterbacks are like a pilot?
Pilot, like an airplane pilot, fly you to safety or into the side of a mountain.
Okay, for sure. I mean, that's a pretty strong way of saying it, but yeah, we certainly have the keys to the car, the keys to the offense for sure.
This offense was clicking on all cylinders for the first 2 weeks, and then the injuries piled up. But what do you think about those first 2 weeks that can be sustainable long term?
So I was actually on the opposite sideline week 2 in Dallas, and it was a flurry. That thing happened fast, to the point where you're like, man, it was impressive. It was a lasting memory from that entire season. So there's definitely an excitement about that. Working with a healthy roster, I saw what it did to us on the opposite sideline, and it was a dynamic operation for sure.
Was that a selling point for you?
One of them, yeah. You remember that? They're like, man, there's a lot of playmakers over on the side of the mountain.
You worked with Kellen on the Cowboys. What does his offense do for the quarterback position specifically? It's
dynamic. I mean, you can play under center, you can play in the shotgun, you can play with tempo, you can play slow. I think all those things, the more tools you have, the more you can cater it to the pieces that you've got.
What are your memories of playing in the Superdome so far, and can it be a special place, obviously, when everything's right?
Yes, I had the fortune of playing in the Super Bowl here when the lights went out, and so I was on the San Fran sidelines, and great atmosphere, like a really cool week here for myself, for my family. At the end of the day, we lost the game, so it's a bitter memory because of that fact, but we had a great week here.
Did you see Beyonce's halftime show, or are you in the locker room?
No, it was one of those, what is it, like a 35-minute halftime or something like that, so I think guys were taking naps. It was a long deal. I heard it was electric, but wasn't a part of it.
Going back to Kellen Moore, with y'all, he dominates past game, but the Eagles, he loves to orchestrate a dominant run game. What is it about his approach that makes him so versatile in this game?
Yeah, I think you just said the word versatile, and he's a versatile play caller based on what you've got pieces-wise. That goes for healthy roster, unhealthy roster. You got to cater to what you've got. You always got to have these core principles that you can hang your hat on, but then being able to change out the sides for what you got, and even within the season, playing with different tempos. I've always been impressed with Kellen and how we've adjusted.
And keen get on the fact that he's able to adjust when it comes to injuries or not. What gives you the confidence, the scheming that he'll be able to do it? What will this offense look like early on in your opinion?
Just because what gives me confidence is I've been around it, and then I've watched it from afar, and his offenses have always answered the bell. So for me, that's a given with Kellen. And then it's always other coaches on the staff too, right? So it's not just Kellen. It's the group of guys that we have offensively, collectively, and my first impression's been really impressed with the guys that we've got.
And you talked about the quarterback room as a whole. Obviously, the veteran Derek Carr, but how beneficial is it to have two young guys behind him to also mold as well?
Always. Youth is always a good thing. You could say the same about having veteran presences as well. I've just, heard a lot of great things, and then obviously have evaluated these guys going back to their college years and have thought good things about them. A lot of good tape out there, so excited about that.
To that point with Rattler taking over for those couple of weeks while Derek was down, were you able to see him progress throughout that time?
Yeah, now again, I haven't studied it with a fine-tooth comb yet, so I don't want to overspeak, but certainly you saw flashes of playmaking ability, and it's exciting.
Have you had, maybe some Nash already, how much have you watched of Derek with the Saints? Now you know a lot about him. How much have you seen and what can he grow from?
Yeah, we've dabbled in it a little bit, just doing our scheme evals, so I haven't seen it all, but super excited about Derek. And again, there's parts of what I've seen on tape, and then part of just what you've seen from afar, and that all kind of comes together to form an opinion. And excited to work with him.
Do you see the potential there? With him growing in this offense?
Absolutely.
After what he's done the previous 2 years, he dealt with a lot of injuries last year.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen a lot of good things from Derek.